Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's SEO and IPAs. It is the fun weekly hangout about inbound marketing, entrepreneurship, and more for cool people of all shapes, stripes, and colors. As always, I am Daniel Barrett here from Two Friendly Nerds. That's TWOFriendlyNerds.com, the world's friendliest web design and internet marketing company. And with me, as always, is the brains behind the operation, officially the only reason anyone ever watches this show. And as far as we know, the only living SEO redhead, it's Patti DeLessio from reinventinteractive.com. Yeah, you are a redhead.
I'm not a redhead.
You're a redhead. And I'll never believe otherwise. And all the other ones are dead.
I'm sort of like, yeah.
It's red. Trust me.
All right. How are you, Dan Barrett?
I would know. I do see you primarily on a screen.
When are we getting together? Will you come to New York with me?
It's just really hard for me to get time away from baby.
Come on.
I know.
Not even a full day, just a half a day. Maybe a day.
What day is it?
I don't know. We'll talk about it.
If it's a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, I might be able to swing it. If it's a Monday or Friday, that means...
I think it's a Monday.
That means I have to skip out on my day to watch the baby, and my wife can't go to school. It's a big ask for something that's primarily optional. I'm just saying. It's a big ask.
It's not optional.
If I'm using the ask, I don't get the ask later. There are a limited number of asks. Right?
Dan, I'm needy. I need this, okay? I need you to do this.
No idea how empty I feel. Let me show you my nerd swag because I wanted to show that before.
Yay, show me.
Entire thing, but I got the entire series of Superior Spider-Man. I want to get back into Spider-Man. I love me some Spider-Man.
Okay.
He's Superior Spider-Man because Spider-Man tried to kill Dr. Octopus, but Dr. Octopus at the last second switched his brain into Peter Parker's body. So it's Dr. Octopus's brain in Spider-Man's body, which is funny. So I got that. And then I got these things. I'm
not sure I have a response to that, Dan.
Oh, it's yeah, wow, that's cool. I wish I was more like you.
Okay, thank you.
And then I got the existing 3 books of these, the Richard Starks Parker graphic novels, which are very cool looking. And they're these very like two-fisted pulp novels with this character Parker, which I guess is well known, but they're really cool. Like kind of like, it's sort of hard to explain, but these kind of like almost like 1950s style.
Yeah, I like it.
Because it's the time period of the books, I'm pretty sure. And the illustrations are just all really cool. And there's a lot of like, there's novel. It's just a really neat sort of mix between a novel and a comic book. So you have like sections like this, which is like primarily text, but it's illustrated.
Yeah.
It's just, they're very, very cool. And I'm trying to, this is a thing, Patti, we haven't really talked about this, but, well, we've talked about this.
Yeah.
We both got very kind of depressed about the like guru self-improvement.
Yes.
I just realized that I was, in all my spare time, was listening to business podcasts and reading nonfiction books and like just consumed with work on my off time. And that's in a lot of ways that's good. You know, I'm trying to improve. I'm trying to do better. But I was just kind of like,
right.
Just all of a sudden, like, you know, it doesn't really make me happy necessarily to do that. It's just this kind of never-ending hamster wheel you're always on. I'm already in the top 1% of all people in the planet, right? I mean, I make more than $30,000, which puts me in the top 1% of all American income earners and the top like 1/10 of 1% of all people on the planet. I'm like, how much more do I really, you know, I'm like, I still want to do it, but I'm like, do I, you know, I'm like, what do I do for fun nowadays? So I really am kind of like, I'm going back and I'm reading more philosophy and fiction and I'm trying to have more fun with the culture I consume.
Yeah.
So anyway, comic books,
I like that.
Yeah. And then changing my reading habits. Do you read much?
Yeah, I consume a lot of online stuff. So
That doesn't count.
yeah. Then no.
All right.
No.
I really feel like the internet's its whole own thing.
Yeah.
Like that's when like I'm on the toilet. That's when all that stuff, the internet's going in and stuff is coming out.
Oh goodness. Okay.
That's why our SEO and IPA text messages always happen at the same time.
Is that right?
Morning every week.
Is that like within 20 minutes of your morning coffee? Is
Yeah,
that?
I have. Yeah, literally. I'm like, oh God, I gotta. Yeah, it's always I'm feeding the baby, and my wife comes out, and I'm like, you need to take him right now. Like, just hand him off. I need to get upstairs.
All right, listen, this is getting gross. So
Sorry. Do you want to go back to our previous conversation before the camera turned on?
I really don't. It's so inappropriate.
All right, let's talk about beers.
Let's talk about beer. Okay.
What do you got for me, my friend?
I got a local.
Local.
It is Yards Brewing Company. It's a beer
Cool.
called Brawler.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Why don't you tell me yours, then I'll look up more about this. We'll wait here. It's on the side. I don't even know what it is. Here's what it looks like. It's okay. It's malty. It's not hoppy. You all right?
Very, very red.
What are you doing over there?
Well, no, I'm listening. I'm opening my beer.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So this is good. It's like I said, it's kind of malty. It's not hoppy. It's low alcohol. It's only a 4.2%. It's like ale is great for when you want to go a few rounds. Alcohol, 4.2%. Way to go. And I do have a beer
session.
Yeah, well, it's not called a session.
Session territory.
This is not a session.
What makes something a session? Just low alcohol?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's not low enough, is what you're saying.
Well, it might be, but it's not calling itself a session. It's not, you know what it is? It's low naturally. It's not low on purpose to be a session beer. But I have to say, I have a funny beer story for you. This past weekend, I went on my beer run. Remember, I was telling you I was training for the 5K?
Is that what they call it? Beer run? Because that's clever.
Well, wait till I tell you, because this is the first time I did one of these, and I had the couch to 5K, and over the course of like, I don't know, a month, I did this running schedule because I don't run. Like 100% of all of my girlfriends are running marathons and half marathons, and I just, kind of don't run. So I prepared for the 5K so that I wasn't like dying, right? And it turns out it wasn't that kind of thing. So we show up, there was a 1 mile like track where every 150 feet there was a beer tent giving you taste of beer. So you kind of ran from tent to tent and just kind of drank all day. And nobody was really running.
Yeah.
It was like really bizarre.
Really at that point.
I'm like running with like a beer in my hand. I'm like, how is this a thing? This isn't really a thing. Is it really a thing? I might get sick. This just seems terrible. But anyway, I tasted a lot of good beer. The joke was completely on me. It was a total waste of time kind of training for it, but I guess that's okay. Win-win.
It was really like a bad, you didn't like it? Like you thought it was a bad time?
I had a great time, and the time got better. I mean,
but the joke's on you because
I showed up to actually run, but it wasn't really a run. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I think some people were running, but like the group I was with, we didn't really run. So yeah, we had a nice weekend. It was a lot of fun, but yeah, it was like definitely a bizarre kind of event. There were tacos. So, and it kicked off Annapolis Beer Week. So I guess all week was beer festivities and stuff in Annapolis. So there was a lot of fantastic beer, a lot of, good vibe and stuff. But no, it was not a run.
That's interesting.
No, it's weird. It was definitely very, very weird. But anyway, so what are you drinking today, my friend? Tell me.
Today I am drinking the Anchor India Pale Ale.
Nice.
Anchor Brewing IPA. It's I realized I hadn't actually had this. I didn't know if they always had this, and I just missed it. But I like a lot of the Anchor. We're fond of the Anchor seasonal, the Christmas one.
Yeah, I've actually been to Anchor Brewing. It's out in San Francisco.
Yeah, I've never been to San Francisco at all. I would love to go to San Francisco.
Oh, it's a beautiful city. It's a great city.
And this is just kind of like their standard IPA, which I realized I never had. It's a rather nice,
beautiful,
kind of, amber waves of grain, and it's
okay.
Yeah, so it's interesting because this is the second time I've had this. I had a bottle, whatever, a while ago, and when I bought the 6-pack, and I was immediately kind of whoa, I didn't really, kind of weirded out almost, and I couldn't really put my finger on it. It's because there's a really noticeable malt note, especially on the back, and it's just not what I expected necessarily. I mean, there's hop there, but it's maltier than most of the other IPAs that I'll drink. And we've kind of talked about this. I'm not a huge malty beer guy. It's not really my favorite thing to look for.
Yeah, this is a malty beer too. I get that. Yeah,
so it's complicated.
It is. It's complicated.
I like it. I do like it. And I went on to, the more you drink of it, the more I drank of it, the more I liked it. But I wouldn't put it in my favorite IPAs by any means, but it's definitely a solid IPA. And I'd probably say if someone's out there that really likes that malt versus hop thing, it's kind of a cool balance of that.
Yeah.
So, it's for me, it's like a 75 percenter there. It's good. I'm glad I'm drinking it. I enjoy it, but it's not like my favorite IPA. But that's kind of more of a personal taste thing than anything else.
Well, let me tell you, when you get yourself to San Francisco, you should take time to tour the brewery. They have a beautiful tasting room. It's a nice tour. It's very cool. There's an interesting history. It's an old brewery. They've done some interesting stuff. They've done live wild yeast, where they've had large kind of bins on the roofs where they kind of collect just the yeast that's in the air, kind of old school. It's kind of neat.
Wild geese, huh?
Yeast. Wild yeast.
Yes.
Stop.
Let's talk about this week's article. That's cool.
Yes.
I would love to go to San Francisco.
Yes, you should. We should all go together. Yeah.
All right, you me and the person watching this right now?
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Let's talk about this week's article because I thought it was interesting. So actually, before we get into this week's article, I wanted to share an article first. So the article I wanted to share first is this excellent article that we found on Lifehacker, which, Lifehacker.
Right.
Lifehacker is kind of annoying sometimes, but, they have some good stuff. This blew my mind. This permanently get rid of those annoying full screen video warnings on Chrome. This is something about Chrome that drives me absolutely freaking crazy, where you go to expand a video. This annoys me to even talk about. You go to blow a video up to full screen. It says, this video wants to go full screen. Do you allow it? And then I'm like, yes, I'm the one that clicked it. Fine. And you allow it. And then it leaves a message on there that says, now this video is full screen. And I'm like, I know it's full screen. I hit you know what I mean? It doesn't go away. I find that super irritating. Anyway, you can get rid of those video warnings doing this little, they just kind of use this wildcard asterisk in the exceptions to allow all websites. So anyway, interesting. I would go ahead and just Google this, permanently get rid of those full screen video warnings in Chrome. You'll find this article and I'll show you how to do it. And it is pretty handy.
I like that. Did you do it? So it's
I just did it
good.
right as we started the show here. And I haven't played around with it to make sure it works. I don't even know what's in there. I guess because they're worried about, some super villain doing that thing they always do where they just jack into every TV and they're like, now I am in control of the network. And they don't want that to happen, or I don't know what is going to happen.
Right.
maybe it's a thing. I guess it's like, it's a spam thing. You can make a video automatically go full screen, and then I can't click around it, or who knows. Anyway, so that's just kind of a little addition. The main article this week, and obviously if you guys are watching on Google+, you can get the link to this week's article on the event page. Or if you're watching this after the fact, you can get it at twofriendlynerds.com/hangout or in the YouTube video notes there. And this is the Moz 2014 annual report. This is one of those interesting things that I've noticed a number of startups, like Groove very conspicuously does this, some blogs doing this, where they're being very transparent about how they make their money and where the money goes. And I think these are fairly popular articles because people are interested about how much money does Moz actually make, and how does that all work. So the 2014 annual report is just a breakdown of their numbers and what they think their revenue, their profit, where all that revenue comes from, etc. Now, the things that the reason I wanted to talk about this was because it really made me think about how I don't actively really track a lot of my own KPIs, and the KPI being a key performance indicator.
Right.
Basically, the numbers that are the health stats of your business, right? So, what's my profit to loss, and what's my, how many Facebook subscribers do I have? And I don't really track those in a systematic way. So it made me think about, like, what are the KPIs for my own business? How do I go about tracking that? I just recently started working with Bench for my bookkeeping, which is really cool. So now I have a monthly profit and loss statement and all these cool numbers to think about. And I want to do more of that because it's a little easy, I think, as a small business like you and I, to fall into the trap of being like, do I have money in my checking account? Awesome. And then that's it. That's like as far as it goes. And, been thinking about it a little bit too. Like recently I went through my checking account, just kind of looking for something. I noticed like $250 worth of monthly charges for software that I had canceled. That I had like gone through the process of canceling, and they had not canceled it. So I had to go through and get the refunds, and it's just weird because so much of it is digital. I never even look at that stuff. You know what I mean? Like I'm too busy or whatever.
Right.
While I'm losing money to these people like every month. So anyway, just thought we'd kind of talk about that. Like, what are the things that you look at your own business, or do you have a system, or do you do that for clients, or whatever it is, and kind of, I can share with you the list of KPIs.
Yeah, you have a bunch of KPIs. That's really cool. I'm trying to manage expenditures, doing the business the way I do it. I don't have many, like you, I have software that I'm buying, like online.
What software do you pay for?
I pay for Raven and Moz. I pay for some of the accounting stuff, although I'm using Wave apps. Do you know Wave apps?
Yeah.
It's very, very cool. I like it. It didn't do this very critical thing that I needed it to do around tax time, which made me hate it quite a bit, but it is a really kind of cool set of tools, and it's pretty inexpensive. I run my payroll through it, so it gets very complicated.
Yeah.
Don't get me started.
S Corp, right?
I'm an S Corp, yeah. So I've complicated my
accountant this year was like, by the way, once you make over a certain amount,
you
should be an S Corp.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, that's that thing that Patti has that she hates, that she's always like, why do I have this? Why did I do this to myself?
Right. Yeah, pretty much. Well, there's a thing that you could do where you are technically an LLC, but you behave like an S Corp, and that's where you get the benefits of both. You and I were at the same conference where they were discussing that, but I'd have to understand it a little bit more.
By the way, I just noticed.
Yeah.
On your screen, why is your little user icon a picture of Tina Fey?
I know. Stop it. Cut it out.
So anyway, so you pay for Moz and Raven.
Yeah. So I do a lot of my reporting in Raven. I do a lot of my research and tools and stuff, and also some reporting in Moz. So yeah, and I'm trying to think. I cell phones, other I've got other kind of expenses, but obviously I'm in my home. So unlike you, I don't have some of that overhead. So I try to manage those numbers performance indicators for me are keeping, new leads coming in and, meeting my quarterly goals as I set them up. So
do you track in a like a consistent way, like how many leads come in per week, and then like how many calls you do versus how many sales you make, and like lifetime value of average clients and all that stuff? Do you know all that stuff, or you just kind of keep it in your head because the companies are small enough? I mean, small enough because you don't need that many clients, right? So is it doable just kind of like in your head, or do you have like a system for tracking?
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I have growth that I need to track and hit, and then if it's getting sluggish, I have the activities that I do. But honestly, a lot of the conversations around KPI and tracking, I do a lot of that for my clients. So that's where, I'm spending my thinking on that. I'm doing a lot of what leads are coming in, what percentages are conversions, what are, like you were saying, lifetime value, especially when it comes to paid campaigns and you're doing those kind of like click-through rates and conversion rates. Some of my favorite numbers, and I know it's been a little while since you and I have talked about this, but is website visitor to business rates.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And that's where you start looking at traffic as it relates to leads and conversions and revenue.
For clients who aren't e-commerce, so any service business, right, where they've got to have a contact, they've got to have a sales call, potentially many sales calls.
Mm-hmm.
How do you track sales on the back end? So how do you track the relationship between someone came to your thing, they filled out a form,
right,
but then there's this huge gap between they turned into money for you?
Right. Yeah, that is. Also, what's add social media to that, and it gets really complicated. Like, how do you, put a dollar, put a revenue on a Facebook like? It's like.
By the way, that was good. That was a good impression. I felt like your hand really looked like the Facebook hand.
Thanks, man. I was trying. It's the only impression I do, by the way. The only one.
Hey guys, what social network am I? Twitter. I know. Anyway,
yeah.
So do you have them submit their sales data to you?
I do what I can to get that on the other side. It's hard. Granted, it's not easy. I've set up Google Docs for clients where every phone call lead that they get, I have them track, because I'm tracking the phone calls that come in, and then I want to know how those leads are performing on the other side. Another client does consultations, so it's pretty easy because to get a consultation, you need to give a bunch of information to the office. So you can kind of track what the conversion rate of the consultations are. And luckily they have been tracking that. Like when I first engaged, it's like, well, what's the rate of conversion on once you can get them into the office and have a consultation? And it's quite high. I find that's the case. Once you can kind of, in the businesses that I'm working with, in the clients that I'm working with, once you can get that interaction going, the conversion rate is high, right? Phone call, in-office consult.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the business, right? And how much.
It does, yeah. But the two of my clients have pretty good rates with that.
I've hacked together a little system for tracking that on my end, because I do a lot of calls that are kind of like, some are explicit sales calls, some are like kind of inquiry calls where they're kind of calling for information, sort of a sales call, but they're not qualified yet. So I do a combination of things. It's like, one, I've been using Active Campaign, and there's a CRM in Active Campaign. And
Okay.
that's my primary kind of marketing stuff now. And so.
How long have you been using that?
A couple months.
Okay.
And I really like it. And it's significantly cheaper than what I was using, which itself was significantly cheaper than what I was using. I went from like Infusionsoft paying like $270 a month to Drip, where I was paying $100 a month, to Active Campaign, which for me is, Active Campaign it's a lot more fully featured than Drip, but it's a lot easier to use than Infusionsoft.
Yeah.
The thing that's cool about Active Campaign is like, so if someone fills out a form, if they fill out the contact form on my website, they get added to a they get added to an automated follow-up sequence. They also get put into a deal list in my CRM where I can sort of record. It connects with my Gmail, records the mail that go back and forth between us, and sort of I can move them a stage. So I can move them to the unqualified versus the qualified stage whenever they're whatever, right? And then, but then I was having trouble saying like, okay, how many, of the, I wanted to, one of my coaches asked me what my conversion rate was on the phone. They're like, what's your sales conversion rate? I'm like, I don't really know that.
Yeah.
I have an idea of, if I look at my Google Calendar, like how many appointments I had, but I don't really know how many of those were like explicit sales calls.
Yeah.
So what I did was I connected my scheduling software. Now I'm using Calendly, but I was using Schedule once, but it doesn't really matter. And basically, all the automated emails and stuff that I send, or any email I send them that's about a sales call, is like, great, schedule a call with me using Calendly. When Calendly puts it into my Google Calendar, it adds it as a sales call. There's a calendar called sales calls.
Yeah.
Of a different color, so I can quickly scan and see. And that's also a stage in ActiveCampaign.
Good.
So then I can, there's another thing where it automatically creates an Evernote note for sales call notes when I'm talking to them or whatever, so I can take notes on the call. Good. But it's like, so that I can go back at the end of the week and just say how many greens did I have or whatever, and I can associate that with where they are in ActiveCampaign. So I can see pretty quickly like this week, like what the sales ratio was or whatever.
Right.
So a lot of that, I'm just going to have I'm going to make a tutorial and have a virtual assistant do. Because really what I want is, at the beginning of every week, I want to like look at a spreadsheet that has all my numbers and has color coded. So is it up or down from last week?
Right.
And then like up or down from last month, like this month versus last month. And
right.
then the percentile changes.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's really what I want.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit of a pain in the butt to set up, because it's like, like most people now, I don't have like a single thing. I've got all these different systems that I'm kind of using, and
it's like, if this, then, oh, for the love of Pete, just talk to each other. It's like
yeah.
It makes you crazy.
Like, it's easier than ever to do that, but it's like there are so many different pieces of software, and I'm changing it. Like I changed my calendar software.
I didn't know that you changed to ActiveCampaign from Infusionsoft. Last time we talked, you were still in Infusionsoft. Yeah,
I went from Infusionsoft. I just didn't want to pay for it.
Yeah, how much is ActiveCampaign? Can you tell us?
It's like $50 a month.
Nice.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's got all the automated stuff it's actually got better automated stuff from Infusionsoft, because it connects to the website, so you can say if they have ever been on this page, move them to a different campaign or stop the campaign or whatever.
It sounds very similar to HubSpot's
probably. There's a lot of neat stuff. Text message.
Yeah.
Which is cool. So it can alert you via text message. I think you can buy more text messages if you want. There's a lot of really, really neat stuff. Then they've got like the email campaign creator. So they've got a drag and drop email designer, whatever. I don't really use. I use primarily the plain text stuff.
Nice.
But then it's got a really nice CRM. So it's got very fully featured CRM. You can see very quickly like who's where and what they're doing, whatever. It can do split testing on the emails. It tells you very quickly like your open rate per campaign for a specific email. It tells you like the engagement rates. It tells you like, who's clicking, who's opening. Just
so where's your affiliate link? Just kidding.
Yeah, I wish. It's just there's a lot of these systems out there now.
Yeah.
And Infusionsoft is kind of the granddaddy, and it's gigantic and does everything you could ever want, but it's a fucking nightmare to use. And so I never touched the CRM. I never touched any part of it other than just the email part.
Right.
And so it was like, why am I paying like $200 for all, whatever.
Yeah.
So ActiveCampaign, I like it.
Good for you. I might check it out. Do they make other products? Who is that?
I don't think so. I think ActiveCampaign is the company.
Is the product? Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. But it's they are pretty cool, and their support's been decent.
Yeah, yeah. Good. Well, the one product that I've been using now, I guess for probably actually it's been over a year now, is the Wave apps. And what I like about it is it's apps in that my mobile phone has like 4 different apps that talk to and relate to, the website when I log in. And that's where I do all of my invoicing from that. I do all of my, like I said, my payroll. I can see when stuff is getting paid. I get dinged on my cell phone. So like, I feel like I'm really tapped in, and it's actually done well. Like the mobile apps are done well. They're very simple. Each one does one task, so it's not too complicated, which I think is the trick to making a good app, is having it be, limited in its task when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like it, and it's improving its features too by the month, which is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of what else I have. So you've got your whole calendar stuff. You use primarily Gmail, right? And then you have
Google Calendar, Gmail.
Google Cal, right.
I pay for Calendly. I pay for ActiveCampaign. I pay for Typeform.
What's that?
It's a form creator. Very, very swanky, very reasonably priced. I think that it's priced by use or whatever. But I pay for the year. But it's a really nice form creator. You can do a lot of super cool stuff for it. Very good on mobile, like super amazing mobile experience. Just that's a really cool company.
Yeah.
I stopped Raven. I never used it.
Yeah.
So I don't have any SEO clients now. I'm all PPC. So it's just, I pay for Espionage, which I really like.
Is that what you're doing your PPC reporting on?
No, Espionage for competitor research.
Right. How are you reporting?
I use Optimizely.
Oh, okay.
Optimizely is the one where I use kind of like daily account checkups. Plus, they have really, really nice reporting. Optimizely they have this one thing where I'm sure there's other software that does this, but they just do such a good job of this. For pay-per-click, for AdWords campaigns, there's a performance comparison tool. So it's like you can pick any 2 date ranges, any 2 like whole accounts, pieces of the accounts, ad groups, whatever, just any tiny granular thing over any time period, and then segment it out with like just the data you want and just compare it. And they give you this whole broad thing with like all the data that you want to see. Basically exactly what I described for my dashboard. Plus it's like, how much did it change? What's positive or negative? What's the percentile change? So when I need to do a call with a client, I literally just pull up the performance comparison from like 2 weeks ago versus a week ago.
Right.
Like here's how it did. Your click-through rate's up like 250%. And they're like, holy shit, and they're like, it's just so fast. It's easy to use. It's really, really nice.
Right.
I've been using that a lot.
They have changed the Raven reporting. I don't know if you've seen the new one. It's more.
Yeah, I still had it. I love Raven's great. I prefer Raven to Moz in almost every single capacity, but I just never used it. And there was PPC stuff in Raven, but I never used that either.
Yeah, that's what I use for my PPC reporting.
Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, the SEO stuff I always thought was better than their pay-per-click stuff, but
what are you paying for Optimizely?
I think it's $99.
Is it? Yeah.
It's such a workhorse for me. We do so much work in it that.
How many accounts can you have in it?
Unlimited.
Really?
Yeah. It's a really good, it's like you pay for it or you don't. It's very straightforward. It's a small company. It's one of the original developers of AdWords is the founder.
Okay.
And they're very a lot of the stuff is very nerdy.
Yeah.
Like they get very, very data nerd-ish. And it's not as polished looking as for example, WordStream or something.
Yeah.
But it's, I think just a really super cool product, really good product.
I'm going to check it out. I like that. I really wish that Moz allowed you to have more than for the base price of $99 a month, which is kind of what a lot of these are. It sounds like.
Yeah, it was the main reason
campaigns. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the main reason I went to Raven over Moz.
Yeah. Yeah, because you can do unlimited.
Yeah.
I use it for research though a lot, the Moz.
I think my wife is here.
Yay, wife,
Let's
baby.
see if she's in the background. Or the door just opened and I'm about to be murdered.
Okay.
There's one or the other. Oh, no, it's my wife. Oh, baby's on the ground. Do you see him?
I do. Hi.
What are you doing over there?
Hello.
How did you get up the stairs? Look at him crawl.
Yay.
Yay.
Oh, right for the shoes.
Right for the shoes. All right, it's time to go.
I love it.
All right, awesome. Hey, everybody out there, thank you so much for checking in on this week's episode. If you caught only half the episode or you want to check out any of our other stuff, you can go to twofriendlynerds.com/hangout. That's TWO friendlynerds.com. And, or you can go on the YouTube and type in SEO and IPA. You'll find all our past videos. Patti, you are awesome as always. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
To all of you out there, please, as always, optimize responsibly.
Optimize responsibly.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Same bad time, same bad channel, Wednesday, noon Eastern Standard Time. Bye, Patti.
Bye, Dan. Cheers.
See you. Bye.